Welcome back to another session on divide and conquer technique. Let us see an example of the merge sort algorithm. Merge sort is a sorting algorithm based on the divide and conquer technique. The problem is to sort a given array A which starts at index 0, 1, 2 until n minus 1. That is totally the array A has got n elements. We do this by dividing it into two halves. The first half will contain elements from index 0, 1, 2 until n by 2 minus 1, and the next half will have the elements starting from n by 2, n by 2 plus 1 until n minus 1. Sort each of these halves recursively, and then you need to merge the two smaller sorted arrays to get a single sorted one. So let us see how the algorithm is written. The merge sort on an input of array A index 0 to n minus 1. When there is more than one element, so if n is greater than 1, what we are doing is we are taking a copy of the first half of the array A into a new array B and the second half of the array A into another array C. So this we are doing by using the copy function, copy A of 0 to n by 2 minus 1 into an array B with indices 0 to n by 2 minus 1. Also the second half of the array, so A of n by 2 until n minus 1 is copied into an array C starting from 0 to n by 2 minus 1. Next, we sort these arrays which we have placed in B and C. So we are calling recursively the merge sort function on the input array B with this index 0 to n by 2 minus 1, and once again we are sorting merge sort for sorting the array C starting from 0 to n by 2 minus 1. Once these two arrays B and C are sorted, then we shall use another function merge, which will merge the two sorted sub arrays B and C to get the final sorted array A. In order to merge the two sorted arrays, we need two different pointers. These pointers will be initialized to point to the first elements of the arrays that are sorted and which are now going to be merged. Now, elements pointed to are compared. So, wherever the elements being pointed to by the pointers are compared, the smaller of them will be added to the new array being created. Once you have copied the smaller element, the index of this is incremented to point to the next element in the array from which it was copied. So this is done until one of the two arrays is exhausted or empty. When one of the arrays is empty, then the remaining elements of the other array are copied to the end of the new array. So the algorithm merge is having three arguments. So one is the already sorted array B starting from index 0 until P minus 1. Then the other sorted subarray, that is C, with index 0 to Q minus 1. And the new sorted array which we are going to consider, that is A, with index starting from 0 to P plus Q minus 1 index. So we need a pointer to an index to the array B, a pointer to the array C, and a pointer to the array A. So while I is less than P, that means we have elements that are to be copied and considered, and J is less than Q. So I is pointing to the array B and J is pointing to the array C. So what we need to do is compare the elements pointed to by the index I as well as the index J. So if B of I is less than or equal to C of j, that means the element that is present in the array B pointed to by the index I is smaller than the element pointed to by the index j in array C, then the element which is smaller needs to be copied first into the array A. So who is pointing to the array A? Which index? We are using the k. So A of k is assigned the value of B of I. Once you have copied, you need to point to the next element in the array B. So we are incrementing I is equal to I plus 1. If B of I was larger than C of j, that means the C of j element is smaller. So that needs to be copied into the resulting array A. So A of k is assigned the value C of j. And then we are going to increment j is equal to j plus 1 to point to the next element in the array C. Whether the element of array B or the element of array C was copied into the array A, we need to change the index of the array A to point to the next location. So k is incremented, k is equal to k plus 1. Next, one of the arrays is empty or not, we should check. So we are looking for whether the array B is empty. So when do you know that the array B is empty? When the value of I equals to the value P. Why? B starts from index 0 to P minus 1. When it is at P, that means all the elements have been copied from the array B. So what does it mean? You have some other elements which are remaining in the array C that needs to be copied into the array A, end of the array A. So we need to copy C of j until q minus 1 to the array A starting from k until the last index, that is P plus q minus 1. If not, if I was not equal to P, what does it imply? Then the array C is empty. So you need to copy the elements of B starting from I to P minus 1 to the array A with the index k to P plus q minus 1. Let us see this example of 8 elements. We have the elements 8, 3, 2, 9, 7, 1, 5 and 4 to be sorted by using the merge sort. First job is we are equally dividing this array into two halves. So the elements 8, 3, 2, 9 will be considered as your first half, say array B, and 7, 1, 5, 4 will be the second half, that is the array C. Once again, the number of elements in this subarray is more than 1. So we need to once again call the merge sort function. So we are going to divide this into two halves. So 8, 3 will become first half, 2, 9 will be the second half, 7, 1 will be the first half, 5, 4 will be the second half. Once again, these two subarrays needs to be sorted by using the merge sort. So we are going to divide this into array of 1 element each. So 8, 3 and the subarray of 2, 9 as 2 and 9. When there is one element, you need not have to call the merge sort function. So we need to slowly merge the two solutions into one array. How do we do that to get the resulting array? We need an index I. So let us see, we need an index I and there is an index j, and this resulting array will have a pointer k. So if this value 8 is greater than 3, so B of I is greater than, B of I is lesser than C of j. Now in this case 8 is greater than 3, so 3 needs to be copied first. So 3 is being copied into the resulting array k, k is incremented and j is also incremented. But when we see the condition, what will happen? This array is empty. I is not equal to P. That means there is an element here. So this element next will be copied to this position. Similarly, 2 and 9, first 2 is copied, then 9. In case of 7, 1, first 1 is copied, then 7 is being copied. Next, the merging of these two subarrays. I will point here, j is pointing here. So this 3 and 2, whichever is smaller, 2 is smaller. So, first 2 is being written here and now j is pointing this position, whereas I is still pointing to 3 itself. Now compare 3 with 9, 3 is smaller. So, 3 is copied here and then we are incrementing I. Now, I will point to 8. Once again 8 is compared with 9, 8 is smaller. So, first 8 is written and then we increment I. Then we find that I has reached the last limit, that is to 2. So, simply copy this 9 to this position. Finally, these two will be sorted and that 2 and 1 is larger, smaller. So, we are going to copy 1. Then 2 is smaller. So, we are going to copy 2. Like this it continues and we get the resulting sorted array. The recurrence relation is based on the number of key comparisons for the merge sort algorithm. So, C of n is given as 2 times C of n by 2. Why 2 times? Because we are going to do the merge sort on 2 halves. So, the number of comparisons in order to sort the first half having n by 2 elements, number of comparisons to sort the second half with n by 2 elements. So, totally 2 times C of n by 2 plus the number of comparisons in order to merge the two sorted subarrays. So, C merge of n whenever n is greater than 1. When there is only one element, number of comparisons is 0. So, C merge of n is representing the number of key comparisons performed during the merging state. One comparison is made at each step and the total number of elements in the two arrays still needing to be processed is reduced by 1 during the merge step. So, the worst case is when none of the two arrays becomes empty. When one array becomes empty, that means the other array has just one element. Until then, none of the arrays will become empty. So, for the worst case, the number of comparisons for the merge function will be n minus 1 and hence the recurrence for the worst case is given as C worst of n is equal to 2 times C worst of n by 2 plus n minus 1. Once again, number of comparisons when there is only one element is 0. If we apply the master theorem, so C worst of n will be theta of n log n because it falls under category A is equal to B power D. So, A is also 2, B is 2 and D is only 1. So, n log n. So, the advantage of this merge sort algorithm is it is a stable sorting algorithm wherein if you have the elements with the same value, the position in the original array is retained even in the resulting sorted array. And the disadvantage is it needs an extra storage amount, lots of extra storage. Topological sort is based on the decrease and conquer technique. So, where we are going to reduce the size of the problem by 1 and then try to obtain the solution step by step, reducing the size of the problem. So, for applying the topological sort, we need to know what is a directed graph. A directed graph or digraph is a graph in which we have the directed edges. So, if you look at this example graph, this is a digraph but which is having a cycle, that is we have an edge from A to B as well as from B to A. So, there is a cycle. Now, graph which involves a cycle, we cannot apply the topological sort. So, remember topological sort is applied to only directed graphs which are acyclic. In a DFS forest of a directed graph, if there are no back edges, then the directed graph is a directed acyclic graph. So, let us see an example where we have 5 courses to be studied by a student for a particular degree program. The courses can be taken in any order provided certain prerequisites are met. Courses C1 and C2 do not have any prerequisites. That means you can study course C1 or course C2 in any order. First C1 followed by C2 or C2 followed by C1. But in order to know the course C3, we need to know both the courses C1 as well as C2. And for studying the course C4, the course C3 needs to be completed. And for course C5, both C3 and C4 are needed to be learnt. So the student can take only one course per term. The order in which the student should take the course needs to be found out, which can be done by using the topological sort. So a diagram is drawn to illustrate this particular scenario. So the course C1 and C2 are independent of any other course. So these two vertices are representing courses C1 and C2. In order to study the course C3, both C1 and C2 need to be known. So hence we have directed edge from C1 to and C2 to C3. So this represents that C3 has two prerequisites, C1 and C2. Also, in order to study the course C4, C3 needs to be studied first. So from C3 to C4 we have a directed edge. And for studying course C5, both C3 and C4 need to be known. So we have directed edges from C3 and C4 in order to study the course C5. So a directed graph is representing the requirements, where the courses are represented by the vertices or nodes and directed edges represent the prerequisites. What is topological sorting? So it is a problem of listing the vertices of a digraph in such an order that for every edge in the graph, the vertex where the edge starts is listed before the vertex where the edge ends. This problem cannot have a solution if you have a cycle in the directed graph. So for topological sorting, a digraph needs to be a directed acyclic graph. Only if a digraph has no directed cycles, then the topological sorting problem will have a solution. There are two efficient algorithms for topological sort. Those that verify whether a digraph is a directed acyclic graph, and if it is an acyclic graph, then produce an ordering of vertices that will solve the topological sorting problem. So the first algorithm is based on application of depth first search method. So first we need to perform a DFS traversal, and the order in which these vertices become dead ends should be noted. What are dead end vertices? The order in which they are popped off from the traversal stack. So if you reverse the order in which the elements are popped off from the stack, we get a solution to the topological sorting problem. But ensure that no back edge has been encountered during the traversal. Why there should not be a back edge? A back edge indicates that it is a cyclic graph, and hence topological sort will not be possible. When a vertex V is popped off a TFS stack, no other vertex U with an edge from U to V can be among the vertices popped off before V. Hence, such vertex U will be listed only after V in the popped off order list and before V in the reversed list. For the course prerequisite example, for that directed graph we have taken. So we have the DFS stack. So C5 will be the first one to be popped off. So the order in which the elements are popped off from the stack is C5, then followed by C4, then C3, then C1 and last C2. Now in order to get the topological sorted list, we need to reverse this order. So first we have C2, then C1, then C3, then C4 and then C5. So in order to study course C3, we know that C2 and C1 have been completed. In order to know the course C4, C3 has been completed. In order to complete the core C5, C4 as well as C3 have to be completed. The second algorithm is based on direct implementation of the decrease by 1 and conquer technique. So what we are doing is, repeatedly we identify in the remaining digraph a source vertex, which is a vertex with no incoming edges, and delete it along with all the edges outgoing from it. When you delete a vertex, you ensure that all the edges outgoing from that vertex are also removed. If there are none, you stop because the problem cannot be solved. The order in which the vertices are deleted will give a solution to the topological sorting problem. So for the example problem, C1, C2, C3, C4 and C5 are the 5 vertices and we have directed edges. There is no cycle. First we should ensure that. That means there is a topological sorting solution for this graph. Now we have to select that vertex which has no incoming edges. So we can observe that C1 has no incoming edges. Even C2. So either C1 or C2 can be considered for deletion. Here we have taken C1. So if we delete C1, we need to remove even the outgoing edges from that. So we are left with only C2, C3, C4 and C5. Next we will identify the next vertex which will be deleted, that is the vertex which has no incoming edges. C3 has got one incoming edge, C4 has got one incoming edge, C5 has two incoming edges, only C2 does not have an incoming edge. So next we shall remove C2 along with the outgoing edge. So we are left with C3, C4 and C5. Next we can see that C3 does not have any incoming edge, so we are going to remove C3. So when you delete C3, you are left with only C4 and C5. Next C4 will be removed and last you are left with C5. So what is the order of deletion? C1, C2, C3, C4, C5. This becomes a solution to the problem. Topological sorting problems may have more than one solution. Any one solution can be considered. So the technique used is the decrease and conquer approach, where the size of the problem gets reduced at each step and then find the solution. Thank you.